Today we are talking about Auria on the iPad, and I'm running mine on an iPad Pro. If you've got the new iPads or the new iPad Air, it probably works really well as well, especially with the new iPad Air, because that's like the A14 or A something Bionic chip or whatever. It's their fancy new chip from Apple, and it's a beast. The only thing the iPad Pro is, mine's the 2018 iPad Pro, so the only thing this one has really that the other stuff doesn't have is maybe more RAM, which does help a lot with stuff, but it's even questionable how much RAM these things have. I think they only have like 4 gigs. It's not that much, maybe even less, like 2 gigs or something. So anyway, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run y'all through a really basic how to use Auria, and what we're going to do is we're going to we are going to make a little MIDI beat using 4 tracks. Shaw says, where do we go to get the Auria? You go to your email that we sent ages ago, about a month ago or so, and that says Auria. I don't know, do a search in your email about Auria. But you definitely got that email. All right, so first things first, and you should have installed it already because I have been talking about that we're going to be doing this. I did mention it yesterday in class. So what we're going to do here first, I'm going to make a new project. So I go up to Menu, I'm going to go to New Project, and I'm going to make a new project. I'm going to call it Tony G Tutorial MIDI Beat. I'm not going to use a template because I want to show you all how to do things from scratch. I'm going to do it at 44.1, and we're going to start off with 0 tracks because I want to show you how to get things going. So I'm going to hit return, and it's going to pull us up, and this is basically an empty screen. Now, what we've got in here is we've got 2 different windows in here. There is your mixer window, and there's your edit window, just like Pro Tools. And then you also have a MIDI window that can pop up as well. And then there's also a keyboard window that's kind of weird at first, but you get like this one right here, and you can move this around your screen. And this is really useful if you do not have a MIDI keyboard connected up to stuff. Going across the top here, we have right here. I'll use my mouse. Right here, you got undo and redo. You got your menu. You got edit. You got process. The name of the track you're working on. This is here is your sample rate. This is your internal, I guess, clock. Rewind, fast forward, stop, play, record. Transport options gives you a whole bunch of like different options in here. You can put on loop, but loop does not do loop record. It only does loop play, and I don't really understand how to do loop record. I haven't really, like, there's, because it's not my normal thing that I use, so there's still a few things that I'm learning about with it. Here we can zoom in on things. Here we can zoom in on our waveform. Over here is your grid. Now the grid is weird. The grid is like a grid made for DJs for some reason. It goes by beats, it goes by bars, beats, and then a half beat, a quarter beat, an eighth beat, and a 16th beat. Now, this is not at all intuitive for musicians. The beat is a quarter note, this is an eighth note, this is a 16th note, this is a 32nd note, and this is a 64th note. I'm not sure why they didn't just call it quarter, eighth, quarter, like normal music terms. I guess they're trying to be like, oh, look, we're hip for the kids. I don't like it. I am not a fan. But basically, we're going to start it off on bars here. Zoom out. And I don't have anything in here yet, so it's not showing me anything. And then over here, we've got some, I think it'll tell you like what's going on with your notes. Here's our tempo, so I'm going to go ahead and kick this up. Let's make a little trap beat. Kick it up to 150. Count in, we'll have a count in, 1 bar count in. Metronome is going to be for recording. Actually, playback and recording. And let's go ahead and make a track. So, and then there's all these things here that are for like editing stuff, and most of them are relatively self-explanatory, but yeah. Where should I put this? I guess down there. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go over here. I'm going to make my mouse off the screen for a second, and we're going to go to Edit. No, we're going to go to Menu, And the menu, we're going to go add track. And we're going to add a MIDI track. Let's add 2 MIDI tracks. So I'm going to click on it here, pull it up, hit 2, hit OK, boom. Now we've got 2 MIDI tracks here. And in here, we can look at these in either window. Right here, we've got our mixer window. Right here, we've got our basically our edit window. I'm not exactly sure what they call these windows. I just know, like, I would call it the edit window because I'm just coming from Pro Tools. So in this mixer window here, if we start up here, if you click on the effects button here, that pulls up some effects. You've got MIDI effects and you've got a channel strip here. The channel strip has an expander / gate. It's got an EQ, it's got a compressor, and you've got a channel strip thing over here. And this channel strip here is if you are, if you have external, like things that you've paid for or bought for the iPad. And it's got some other stuff in here, classic verb, reverb, delay, stuff like that. But I also have a whole bunch of stuff, and you can see I've got a ton of stuff in here that I've bought over the years. Because I've just bought a whole bunch of stuff from my iPad and iPhones and things like that. So you've got 4 of those strips there, and then you've got the main one there. And you've also got MIDI stuff as well, and the MIDI stuff has, you know, it's got like an input quantize, so you can have an input quantize happening. So if I want to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and go to my 8th note. Now this is interesting because I didn't even notice this before, but this is set for regular notes. So I'm not sure why they did it one way in one place and one way in another place. It doesn't, it's really, yeah, it is what it is. And then over here we got the port if you're coming in from something external, so you can go in here and you can say MIDI port, input, output, all that stuff there. And we can go tell it which track we're going to go to, stuff like that. So just leave that alone like that. And then in here we got parameters here for, I guess these are velocity shifting, so you can move the velocity up and down, stuff like that. And there's like some different presets that you can have in here for your channel strip. MIDI levels down here is where I'm looking. Okay, so you got that stuff there, and you got this stuff over here.
Good morning.
Good morning. So then up here, if I want to choose what instrument I've got, I'm going to click on this little where it says instrument right here. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click drums. Hold on, Amir just popped in. So that's my drums. And now, if I want to play these drums, I got a couple ways I can do this. One way I can do it is if I go over to my other window and I click on the little E button. Now I can play my drums. There's a huge lag for me right now, so I'm gonna have to plug these in note by note. I can't. There's no way I can play this in because there's such a lag. Because I'm actually hearing it through the computer. It's going into QuickTime and then it's coming into my headphones through a bunch of software. So there's no way I can actually play this in real time. But essentially, that's one way you can do it. You can click on this little E right here. The other way you can do it is you can click on the keyboard here on the left-hand side. Let me just show you. And this keyboard here on the left-hand side, what it does is it opens up your MIDI editor. And it's, there we go. Let me get that. I zoomed so far in. Goodness, okay. And I can input notes and stuff like that right here as well. And I can click on it, I can hit delete. So I'm going to show you that more in just a second, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that for now. I guess I just have to scroll all the way out. Oh my God, that's annoying. Okay. So now, what I'm going to do is the other way is I can use this keyboard here. Now this keyboard, by default, it doesn't actually play any sounds. And this is really, really confusing if you're not used to it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to track, and I'm going to go to track 1. And I got to push the keyboard button here. And now I can hear it. If I don't have this button right here pressed, we're not going to hear anything. So if I click on that button there we go. Now I can hear stuff, and I can lock it in place. And if I don't lock it in place, and that's this little button right here, if I don't lock it in place, then it's going to move left and right like this. If I lock it in place, it will not move. Now there is a drum pad here, but this drum pad is not set up for the correct notes with their sampler. it's probably set up a little bit lower down. So yeah, don't worry about that drum pad. Just use your drums on the keyboard like this. I know it's kind of annoying because the other thing that I'm not a huge fan of with this is that if you go up and down, it does velocity, but I have found in my experience that if you try to add that into stuff, it never really works the way you want it to work, because it's really like, I ended up like, when I was making my beat, I can't be exact about where I'm hitting it because there's no tactile feedback. So I end up hitting in different places. So then I have to go back and do velocity stuff later. So I'll show you that in here. But I'm actually not gonna be able to play it in anyway. So I'm gonna have to put it in by hand. So anyway, we've got this clip here. What I'm gonna do is undo that. There we go. To make that bigger, there we go. I click and I hold on it. And when you hold on it, it gets that arrow there. It's your trim right arrow. And now I can drag that clip like this. And I'm going to go ahead and hit delete on this one. The way you can, so selecting things in here, you double click and you hold it down and you drag over to the right. Now everything I'm doing is selecting bars. But that's how you select stuff here. So if I double click, and when I say double click, I mean double tap with my finger. So I double click and I drag to the right and it selects the bar here. And what I can do is I can join, can I join that and we'll make a MIDI clip? No. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to go in here in my track and I'll find where my drums are. My drums will go down here like this. There you go, and it's doubling that up for some reason, but that's okay. What I can do is I'm gonna put this in. Let's set this bar, let's set this to a quarter of a beat, which is a 16th note. And I just click and it puts that in. Now you'll notice here, it put it in as a quarter note because up here it's set to quarter note. Now that's not something that actually turns on until you actually have a note in there, or does it? I guess it does. So I can select that 16th note, and here it's actually normal notation. So whatever. Let's actually here, maybe this is set in a way that I'm just, nope, my grid, yep. It's so weird. Okay, so I got that there, and I usually, when I'm doing my drums, I usually input them at, in at full velocity, and then I also input them in at 16th notes because that's just how I can just see things better, and that's just how I've gotten to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I made it like it's a trap tempo. All right, so I'm gonna put my metronome is on. So I'm gonna set a loop here. I'm gonna set that loop for 4 bars, 4-bar loop. And the way I did that was I just double clicked. I just put it in there, so I got my loop, and let me just show you that one more time. Once I've got it in here, come on, stop it. Okay, so if I double click and hold it down and drag to the right, it allows me to put my loop in, and then when I move my finger around on it, that's my playhead right there. So you have to kind of like double tap and hold and drag. It's really weird to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's okay, I guess. I keep telling myself that. So I got this here, and so I got a loop going on here, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put a tap in, boom, 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 cat. And I'm just gonna make a little beat, and I have to, like I said, I can't play it in because of the whole, I'm not sure why I'm getting a double tap here, but let's just do this. Move that back like that. And I'm just gonna tap it in. Go. And you can see I'm just going through and tapping this in. And I'm using my fingers to pinch to get it to go in right. Cool. And then we'll go. Now, one thing is these notes have a little bit of an overlap to them. Or at least, well, I thought they did, they maybe not. So I got this little beat here, so let's go ahead and I'm going to turn off my metronome. I'm going to put my, oops, delete that one. And I'll just put this in here. Not sure why it's not triggering that note, but whatever. And you'll notice it has to go through, like you got to give a little bit of time for it to pick up what you just put in. I'm just going in here. And I notice that these are not actually, there we go. Let's make them a little bit shorter. Maybe it's, yeah, I'm not really sure why it's not playing these faster notes here. It was, oh, I know why. Huh, that's funny. Because I have my quantize set over here in my effects. That's my grid. Okay, turn that off. All right, you don't want that if you're doing trap stuff or you want it to be faster. And I don't, the reason why I have it set up here is, yeah. Okay, there we go. There we go. Here, let's delete you. Change that. Okay, there we go. Now it's, there we go. Cool. And we'll make this a little bit quicker here. Set this tempo. There we go. Cool. I'm just going to go ahead and put some like little hi-hatty bits in here. All right, sweet. So we have that there. And if I hit the X button, let me just show you. If I double click it, it opens it up. If I hit this X button right here, I can close it out. Now you'll notice that it's a little bit over the edge right over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to hold my finger down on this. I'm going to drag it over like that. So it's just a nice amount over there like that. Okay, cool. So we got this. Now let's put a bass in there. And I'm pretty sure that it comes with this Fab Filter 1. I don't think I ever paid for, I don't think I ever bought Fab Filter 1 or Twin 2. I think it comes with it, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. Maybe I should use the bass. Yeah, no, I don't want any of those basses. So this Fab Filter 1, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that it comes with it. I'm going to go in here for the bass here. And let's go to Subsonic. Now, if I want to play this track, I have to turn off the the little MIDI note here and turn it on for this one down here and go up here and set this to track 2. Right, so there we go. There's my notes, but again, of course, it's like super laggy for me. That's not the program's fault. It's just because of how I've got everything set up here. So what I'm going to do is in this one here, I'm going to click on the keyboard. And I'm going to go ahead and put some notes in. And I can hear my notes that I want to play on the left-hand side if I click over here. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Make this a little bit longer. If I want to make the note longer or shorter, I can click on the end of it and drag it to the left and the right, or if I want to grab it and move it around, I click kind of in the middle of the note. I tap in the middle of the note to puts it kind of in the, it lets me drag the note around. So, I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bass line in here. Let's make this a different key, actually. I'm going to move this up. Now, I'm using 2 fingers. 2 fingers horizontal to kind of move things left and right, and then 2 fingers vertical to move things up and down. So it kind of allows you to lock things in space. I find it useful if I use 2 fingers like this to move horizontal and 2 fingers like this to move vertical. Hold on, I'm just listening. Let's see what that sounds like. I'm not sure. I'm losing the thought in my head because I'm thinking about talking too. Okay, cool. Put this one in here. Whoa, whoa. And then put this in. Cool, all right, so let's hear what that sounds like. Awesome. That sounds pretty good. Sounds basically like what I wanted to sound like. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the editor for this synth. And I'm going to adjust some things. Cool. And I'm just going for kind of an 808D type of sound. There we go. It's a nice big fat sound. Raheem, what's up? I saw you put your hood in here earlier. There we go. Okay, cool. So we got that there. Now let's add in another instrument. So I'm going to go ahead and stop things. And I'm going to go to menu. Let's go to add track. Let's add 2 more tracks, 2 more MIDI tracks. And this one here, I'm gonna make it just go, you can see here it's not quite, it doesn't quite reach over to the end here, so I'm just gonna hold my finger on the end here and grab it and move it over like that. And let's go down here to this one and let's make a piano line for this. And I can just stay on the screen if I want to. I can click on this. I don't want that stereogram. That's like the default instrument that comes up. Let's go ahead and use a kind of mallet sound, and we'll use the marimbas. Nope, I did say Twitch yesterday. All right, so we got this here, and awesome. Okay, so that sounds pretty good. I'm just gonna go ahead and put 24. And we're clipping somewhere. We'll figure that out here. We'll turn that master volume down. Yeah, whatever, that's fine. Cool, so we'll just do that, and I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna put a little track in. I'm not sure. Oh, you're not coming in today? All right. Not sure why it's... Oh, it's because it's playing that one up there. Okay, so there we go. So now I'm on this one here. Not sure why it's playing monophonic, but whatever. I'm just gonna click these. I'm gonna grab these like this and copy them. Hit a copy button there, and I'll put my playhead there, and oh, it's not gonna let me paste them in. That would make, hold on a second. I'm gonna copy these. There we go. Menu, wait, edit, copy, there we go, paste, 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 and keep going here, paste, 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 paste. And so I've just got like 2 bars here. I'm just gonna keep this pretty simple, and then this one here, I'll take this one and duplicate it because pasting all those is gonna be annoying. So I just click on it, make sure it's 2 bars, it is 2 bars, I'm gonna click duplicate over here. Like that, go in over here, go back. Actually, hold on a second, that should be, oh, hold on, let's select all these. Select all, turn them into 1/8 notes, and then copy all of them and paste it. Oh, it's not gonna, okay. Fine, fine, copy, paste. I'm gonna use 2 hands for this. I've been using 1 hand for most of the stuff so far, but I'm gonna use 2 hands for this. And this is like kind of one of my things with the iPad is that, you know, as much as I like using the iPad for stuff, because of the lack of touch feedback, like I can't have 1 hand on a keyboard or 1 hand on here. I mean, I could do it actually, but it's, it does make it a little bit more, it's a little bit harder to use without just staring at the screen. And you're looking at the screen, so it's not that big a deal. But I don't, like if I'm looking at one part of the screen, I don't want to necessarily have to look at the other part of the screen. I don't know if that makes sense or not. But anyway, so I got this here. Let's go back to the beginning. There we go. Cool, so we got that there. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and turn the volume level down on this one here. So it's just kind of in the background there. And I'm gonna go to my final track over here and Let's put a taiko drum in there. How about that? And then in here, what I'm gonna do, I'm online, dude, I'm teaching. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and play this in. Well, I'm not gonna play it in because I can't play it in, but I'm gonna go ahead and write these ones in as well. And go over here to the keyboard here and go in. Move it down. These are my taiko drums. Undo. Zoom in. Zoomy zoom. Put my velocity up. There we go. Bum, bum. There we go. Let's use that one there. Hold my finger down on this, grab this, move it over. Let's listen to that. Cool. Let's send that over to a reverb. So I got my aux over here. Click on my aux effects, and we got our aux 1, 2, and 3, 4. You've got, so let me just stop this so you can hear what I'm saying. So over here on the right-hand side, we've got our aux returns for aux 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, like that. And so let's get our aux effects up like this. I'm gonna pull in a reverb sound. Let's go for classic verb. Boop. I think I actually bought a reverb sound though at some point. I can't remember off, probably not. Okay, anyway, we'll use the classic verb that comes with it. Open up the editor, that little E is for editor, and let's send this over to that. My drum is right here, aux 1, return. Let's solo this out. All right, so there's my reverb. Put this up at 100%. There we go. Make some adjustments here. There we go. Let's solo these out as well. I can have these go to my reverb as well. Cool. Now on these, I'm going to go in here to my effects and turn on my EQ like this right here. Here's my EQ on off. And my EQ, I'm going to go ahead and put the low cut on these drums. Hear how that works there. Otherwise, I think they sound pretty good. Let's turn some saturation on, see what that does. Yeah, cool. Cool. Let's see if we can make this bass sound a little bit more interesting. Go to my effects in here, and go to the channel strip. Let's see what I've got over here. Like I said, these are all different things that I've bought in the past. Let me just make sure. Should be saved. It saves automatically, as most iPad things do, iOS things do. So I'll go here to my effects, go over here to the channel strip, and the filter station. There we go. It's going to give it a nice bump. And this filter station actually has some really cool controls in here. If I go into there we go. My filter IO, yeah, saturation. Yeah. Cool. This MS-20 filter should be nice. The attack. Sweet. Get my side chain going on. Cool. Gives that bass a little bit of something to mess around with. And we could even go into the bass sound. And let's go back to this window here, open up that bass sound, and pull this filter up a little bit. Let's see what that kind of sounds like, what we can make that. Let's use that. We can use this one here, turn the envelope generator down. Give it a slightly different feel, which is nice. Now let's take this and unmute. There we go. All right, and that's how you make a basic little beat in Auria. Now, I'm going to go ahead and stop it there. Setup looks so different. Looks different from what you have on yours? I hope not. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. I'm about to start freestyling. Spit those rhymes. Spit the rhymes. Spit them. All right, I'm going to stop recording here.